What was your reaction when you saw Hazard announce his retirement?
If I am being completely honest, it's felt like he's been retired for 3 years now because I haven't seen the man play football in a long, long time. So when I saw the news, I was just like, damn, like, what a weird way to end such an illustrious career. You know, ever since he made that move to Real Madrid from Chelsea, just haven't seen him.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is that it has nothing to do with him.
No.
Absolutely nothing. Was just plagued with crazy injuries that he just couldn't really ever recover from. And that's the story of Eden Hazard's last couple years of his career. Again, nothing to do with him as a player. But at the end of the day, you know, he's a Premier League legend with Chelsea. Absolute legend. And when I look at the height and the prime of his career, you know, I was actually more of an admirer of Hazard than I was a fan of his, to be completely honest.
Same.
I was never like, ooh, I can't wait to watch Hazard play. It was more like, damn, Hazard's really fucking good.
Yeah.
And his low center of gravity, his ability to turn in the tightest of situations, his dribble penetration was one of the best. He entertained millions of people just off of his dribble penetration alone. Eden Hazard will go down as one of the best Chelsea players of all time.
What gets me so much about Hazard's end to his career, these last 4 years with Real Madrid, is can you just imagine the tool that Real Madrid could have had if the same Eden Hazard from those Chelsea glory days was performing in La Liga? Can you imagine to have that interior player, his playmaking ability, everything you already highlighted, assisting Vinny Jr., playing alongside Benzema up front, receiving passes from Modric, Toni Kroos, and all these amazing midfielders. He could have found a home in Madrid. And I think that's why, honestly, by Real Madrid standards, they ended up keeping him for way longer than they usually keep other players that don't pan out. There was just that hope for that potential to realize itself, and it never truly did. And for Hazard himself, he also saw it as just like, you know, if I can't figure it out here after they've given me chance after chance after chance, then I think I'm just done playing overall. So after 700 games I think I saw in 16 years of playing football, he hangs up the cleats. And it's just a beautiful thing to see at the end of the day because he did have such an illustrious career, reaching insane heights with Chelsea. But I still go back to what could have been with Real Madrid.
Yeah, what's really interesting about that point of what could have been for Eden Hazard at Madrid is I haven't even really thought about that because of how Madrid have gone about their transfers in the last 4 years, basically since they bought Eden Hazard. After that purchase, they kind of just doubled down on the idea that, all right, we're just going to get young, up-and-coming players like from here on out. Hazard was a failure in that transfer sense. Again, it was nobody's fault, but it kind of paved the way to just rely on a really young Vinicius Jr.
That's true.
You know,
That's
to
true.
let Rodrigo just flourish off the bench and play in really big situation games. Hazard definitely would have taken that opportunity from either Vinicius or Rodrigo early on. So it kind of worked out really well for Madrid because, I mean, now look at the young talent that they have coming through the ranks at Madrid. But for Hazard in his prime, dude, I mean, Madrid just would have had another Galactico essentially.
Yes.
Like he would have gone absolutely off. But again, it's just so unfortunate because we didn't even get a taste of prime Hazard at Madrid. We didn't even see it. So it's not like he even had like half a season there where he was just going off. It just never happened. The moment he got to Madrid, he just was plagued with injury and could never really find rhythm with that team. So it's kind of crazy. We didn't even get to see a little bit of prime Hazard at Madrid.
Yeah, and I think the only other aspect I want to mention about Hazard is I have to highlight his international performances because I think it's one thing for a player to flourish at the club level the way he did with Chelsea in the Premier League and with Lille in France. I think winning a trophy with them or at least making a name for himself to make that move over to the Prem afterwards when he was young. He had that international success to go with it in terms of playing some really, really good games with that golden era of Belgium, almost getting to a World Cup final and falling short against France in that semifinal in 2018. But I remember, bro, that 2018 World Cup by Eden Hazard was incredible. And it has to be highlighted. It has to be mentioned because he was killing it, bro. He was killing it. His dribbles were just perfect. His ability to get past the guy, his decision making, his assists, his goals. He was so clinical. He was so effective. And he was just playing at the top top of his level that whole month. And I loved it, man, because, you know, to see that international success, to see him do it on that big of a stage with all eyes on him was a beautiful thing to see. Do you think, in terms of play style, in terms of aesthetics, that at his peak, Hazard was like the closest thing to Messi's play style?
Well, yeah, I think in 2018, as you just described how off he went, he outshone Messi and Neymar, truly, in the 2018 tournament. And for me, it'll always be a little bit frustrating that the rest of Belgium couldn't really help him out when he really needed them to step up. It'll always be a little frustrating for me because, as you said, he always put in such good performances basically up to 2018 for Belgium. They got so close in 2018, so close. But yeah, they ultimately could never go over that finish line and get to a big final. So it'll always be a little frustrating there. But yeah, I mean, based off of skill, his dribble penetration, such low center of gravity. When he dribbles, his ass is nearly touching the ground. It's pretty crazy, but he's so effective.
Gets close, bro.
Gets real close for Hazard.
Close.
Gets really close for Hazard, but he has some of the wildest dribble highlights, some of the craziest. But what was crazy about Hazard is he would have these insane dribble penetrations, but he would actually finish the goal. He would finish it off or do some sort of crazy pass. So he was able to couple insane technique with really good clinical finishing. Yeah. And that's why Hazard will always be one of the best of his generation.
Yeah, I know people have always wondered, what would Messi look like in the Prem? I think if you look at Eden Hazard's highlights, like his best highlights when he was with Chelsea in the Premier League, it's as close as we're going to get because he had some insane, like you mentioned, insane runs from the fucking half field line, just going up and getting past 2-3 guys and scoring a beautiful goal. He did it against Liverpool at one point in the EFL Cup, I remember, just scoring an insane goal where he like out-dribbled Alberto Moreno and then scored from the wing. The dude's insane, and at his peak, I truly do appreciate everything he's done for the sport, and he'll go down as a legend for sure. It's just such a shame the way his career ultimately ended at like 28 years old.
Yeah.